Hello and welcome. You're watching the news on N24. Thank you for joining us. In the headlines, the residents of Banjul faced a heavy flood, which is said to be caused by rain, and the water that is gushing from the gutter is making it difficult for some Banjulians to cook and sleep in healthy and conducive environments. According to the affected victims, this has been going on for 3 weeks now. Alimatu Juve has the rest of that story.
Tobacco Road in the capital city of the Gambia has been hit with dirty running water from the gutters for nearly 3 weeks. Speaking to some of the residents as they showed their disappointments from the government, Mamun Jai, a victim, outcried that they've been living in this neighborhood for quite a long time but never experienced such issues. Also added that the flood is worse than the pandemic they're advocating for.
And we have never experienced such issues, you understand. So this thing could have been, made prior to this development that we have today. But what I want to emphasize is, like, this has been politicized. We should put our individual differences and our political differences aside and work towards our environment, because this affects everybody. We have our brothers, our sisters, our sons and daughters, our mothers who are all living here. This is this is more serious than that of the pandemic that they are advocating for. They are advocating for the pandemic, that is the COVID-19, but this is more serious because this is our environment. We are floating in this own seat and this carries disease. Our youths, our kids may suffer from this. And at the end of the day, who knows what will happen next? If it continues to rain, my brothers and sisters, may God forbid, but we'll float. And we are even floating currently. So we want them to come to our rescue and help us with this because this is very, very serious.
Samba Tamba, also a Banyu resident, said the grasses that grow at the back of the buildings block the waterway. That is why the water cannot pass through.
So if you go behind, you will see the grass. They have blocked the way for the water to pass. That is why the water is not going.
Saini Minte, who is also a victim in Banjul, said that the machine in which the water usually passes through has a problem, and due to that, the water is entering their houses.
The canal is filled and the water is not flowing. And they said the machine that pumps the water has a problem. All our houses and rooms are filled with water. So we are using bucket to fresh the water out.
Aja Conte, who is also been suffering from the flood, has this to say.
Depuis barkati demba last taw bi passé dal depuis mu xewé ba tay ci lañuy endu ci lañuy fanan du bir neegi du biti du gis ngeen wañ bi ci bir wañ bi lañuy
all this water that you are seeing is toilet water. Since it rains, the last time to date, we are living in this water. See our kitchen, they are floating. If you want to cook, the charcoal pot must be on top of something. After cooking, we have to eat on top of our beds. The child I'm carrying is 9 months old. He has nowhere to crawl, and he is always on my back. The children are not going to school. All our bed of rest got spoiled.
Speaking to the Public Relations Officer Banjul City Council, Modu Lamin Biba said they've done a survey regarding the current situation of Banjul, and what they've realized is that the ring canal is not functioning. That is why it created a stagnant water that has started entering people's compound. He further said that the City Council have no right to touch anything as far as the current situation of Banjul is concerned. However, he said they've wrote to the stakeholders to engage the contractor to see how best this can be remedied.
Have first-hand information, that is to do a survey on what is really happening. And what we've realized is that the ring canal is not functioning. That is why it created stagnant waters that has started entering into people's compound. So when we came back, we had some pictures and also some videos, and we were able to sit down as a committee and discuss about it under the leadership of Mayor Rohima Aliklo. Then we came up with a press release and also a letter that was also sent to all relevant stakeholders, that is the Ministry of Works and also our line ministry, to touch anything as far as the current situation of Banjul is concerned. And like the mayor said during the visit today, that we didn't budget for it because already the central government have budgeted for it. So we cannot put part of our budget and send it to our line ministry and tell them that we want to work on our drainage system in Banjul. They will just look at us and say, what? That is impossible because central government have already paid or are paying for the rehabilitation project in Banjul.
Banjul, being the capital city of the Gambia, gained its independence in 1965, but still struggling to make it to the developing world. Reporting for N24, I am Alimata Diouf.
Gambian Women's Lives Matter celebrated their one-year anniversary on Saturday, 25th September, in a peaceful protest from Alliance Franco to Westfield Monument. The Gambian Women's Lives Matter group highlighted that although the Gambia is a signatory to several conventions promoting and protecting the rights and welfare of women, mothers in the country continue to die in labor under circumstances that could be averted. The Gambia Women's Lives Matter also wants the government to increase the budgetary allocation to the health sector to the 15% agreed in line with the AU Abuja Declaration of 2001. Our Kaysane has the rest of that story.
Gambia Women's Life Matters celebrate their one-year anniversary on Saturday, 25th September, in a peaceful protest from Alliance Franco to Westfield Monument. The Gambia Women's Life Matters also want the government to increase the budgetary allocation to the health sectors to the 15% agreed in line with the AU Abuja Declaration of year 2001. The women's rights group asks that the Ministry of Health take responsibility for all babies of mothers who died out of negligence, incompetency, lack of proper infrastructure, or lack of adequate and timely information. They further demanded that the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare and Department of Social Welfare be fully strengthened and empowered to take up their roles and more effectively to serve women and children. Finally, the Gambian Women's Life Matter is calling on the government to eliminate all costs related to antenatal and post-antenatal care and strengthen the O&G units of all health sectors to ensure availability, access, and quality. A 21-year-old Kumbaseka, whose mother died while giving birth 3 weeks later, lost her brother too due to the tumor and circumstances of her mother's death. She joined the protest and said she wants her voice to be heard and to see an end to women dying in labor or sick beds.
Barrow says he has only 3 competitors. Another crowd as President Barrow completes his nationwide tour. Thanking all that formed coalition with his party, Barrow advised his supporters not to look back, but rather to focus on the future. The president also lamented that he has only 3 competitors, the ones that ran away when people struggled to get the democracy that we are all enjoying today, the ones that have been looking for presidency for decades, and he was amongst the ones who pushed them, but they are still stagnant, and they are also the people that hid themselves under the bed when things were tough. Sukay Jarjusi has the rest of that story.
As the President of the Republic of the Gambia tours the country, he assured the people of Willingara that he will fix all their problems if he wins the December presidential elections. The people of Willingara were given some ambulances in order to help women and children, which he said is the first time in the history of the Gambia. Talking about his oppositions, the president declared that he has only 3 competitors, the ones that ran and hid on the debate and now making noise, the ones who fled this country when things were very tough, and the ones who he and others have been pushing for a long time. Concluding his speech in Willingara on Tuesday, the president says what Gambians didn't have within the period of 50 years will be given to them if he happens to win. Reporting for N24 TV, I am Sukay Jarjusi.
Scientists create world's whitest paint to fight global warming. Amidst the fight against global warming in the world, scientists have created what they term as whitest paint. It is made to ease the tension globally that is imposed by a warm climate. Let's take a look at this insert.
Whether we can create the paints to be below the ambient temperature because we had much better nanotechnology than half a century ago.
Over now to the sports section of the news. The women's under-20 of the Gambia on Friday lost 1-0 to Burkina Faso in the first leg of the 2022 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup at the Independence Stadium. The game, which was played behind closed doors, saw the Gambian team create decent opportunities, but they could not find the back of the net as the Burkinabes took a 1-0 win to Ouagadougou. Our sports reporter, Sergio S. Jame, has more details of that match.
It was a first-time experience for the national women under-20, and they suffered a 1-0 loss to Burkina Faso in the first leg of the preliminary qualifier of the 2022 FIFA Under-20 World Cup Costa Rica, courtesy of the game's only goal scored by striker Adele Cabre for Burkina Faso in the 77th minute. The Gambian team had a series of decent chances in the first half, but were not clinical enough in their opponent's goal mouth. Fatoumata Jammeh was lively for the young Scorpions with a collection of some dazzling displays, but the closest the Gambian team came was in the 73rd minute when a free kick by Fatoumata Emma Mouk nearly eluded the Burkinabe goalkeeper Adelene Cabre, who luckily prevented Emma's effort from going in. As the clock ticks towards the end, Adele Cabre scored the winner for Burkina Faso in the 77th minute, much to the delight of the Burkinabe head coach Pascal Sawargo.
I think that we have 3 weeks to prepare this match. But if I remark the play, I think that the level is high. It is a match which is open. The both teams can win, but the difference is efficacy. We have 2 occasions. We put one, I think that it is good. We want to prepare the second match like the first match, because 1 goal is not sufficient. I think that our stadium is not homologated. It is the problem of the nation, but I think that the player is the same. Playing in Gambia, playing in Burkina, the best will win. And I think that the difference, the step forward, the travel, we have to go to Benin, we can play. It is interesting to play.
For his part, Fodeba, head coach of Gambia's Queen Scorpions, said his team had an ideal preparation before the game, despite the 1-0 defeat.
Very well for this game. It was rather unfortunate that we didn't get the result that we wanted. My previous interviews here, and we played a team that I didn't know nothing about. Right? Today I've seen the team play. I mean, we've learned a lot. You know, I mean, getting back to the return leg, we will work on our defensive aspect and also on our chances. I think today we lost the game because we lost all our chances. We created more chances than the Burkina team. We've created, I thought we hit the woodwork. I mean, we got 1v1 with the goalkeeper. I mean, we give it away. I mean, these are kids. Like I said, these are first international tests. I mean, so for them, they were like kind of the first, they were a little bit nervy, you know, at the beginning. But playing the first test here, I mean, first international, I mean, the return leg is not over. You know, football is two sides, right? They've came here, they beat us, we'll go out back there, I mean, we'll beat them.
That was Fodeba, head coach of the national women's under-20, ending that report by Sergio S. Jame. And on that note, there you have it for this week's edition of the news. Join us next week, same time, same platform. I am Udi Wangam.